You know, nationally, around 40 kids die every single year while being left in a hot car. So we're talking about dangers when it comes to the extreme heat. Summer, of course, just right around the corner. So what are things that you can look out for? We're here with Dr. Raul Chavla, and you have some really good tips for people. We know hot temperatures just right around the corner. Give me some tips on what people start to notice when they start to get a little bit over exhausted with the heat.
Sure. So again, hyperthermia is the official medical term, meaning an increase in body temperature. It usually starts in stages, right? One of the biggest things we always say is keep yourself covered if you can, stay in the shade, stay indoors, hydrate, eat salty foods. But what ends up happening if you don't, like a child is left in a car or someone is overexerting themselves in the heat? Initially, you'll have something called heat cramps, where your body starts cramping. You'll have abdominal cramps, stomach pain, legs are aching, arms are aching, and that's because your body's losing electrolytes very, very quickly, and your muscles don't work efficiently with that. If you're not hydrated or taking salt and stuff by then or remedying it, then you go into something called heat exhaustion, where your body's overly tired, your body's trying to sweat, you're breathing fast, your body's doing everything it knows how to do on its own to try to cool itself down. If you keep progressing from that, then we go into the worst part, which is called heat stroke. Heat stroke is when your internal temperature can go 106, 107, 108 degrees, and then your organs are cooking from the inside out. It leads to brain damage, seizures, cardiac arrest, and those are the worst kinds of patients we see coming into the emergency room. Sometimes they can come in, we've seen kids coming in with heat stroke. We treat them, we aggressively cool them, they're doing okay, but they still go to the intensive care unit because the ill effects can happen a few hours later as the organs are still getting damaged. The damage is done. It just takes a few hours sometimes for that to manifest. So you can be relatively looking okay and then still pass away and die despite intervention.
Sure. Yeah, this can kind of creep up on you, right? Especially in some of the warmest hours of the day. We talked about kids obviously being left in cars, but you said also that kids, maybe they're not even being left there. Sometimes they'll kind of crawl their way into cars on their own. So just some tips for people who are at home to ways to keep their kids safe this summer.
Sure. So, we unfortunately do see this. This is just as bad as a drowning for us, right? Everyone is just devastated by this. But if you have little kids at home, it's a good habit to make sure your cars are always locked and they don't have access to the keys, right? Toddlers, especially boys, are curious. They like going in their cars and playing. They can open the doors, get in. Lots of times the doors will close and they can't get out. If cars in a garage, it can also get very, very hot. Garage temperatures in the Phoenix area get very, very hot. So one of the recommendations is if you have little kids at home and you can't find them, first place you look is the pool in the backyard, and then you have to go look in your cars to make sure they're not in there.
Sure. Okay, doctor, thank you so much. Really good tips that you always provide for us. Again, just ways to keep you and your family safe as the summer heat approaches. We're in Glendale. I'll send it back to you.